Hey, Frank here, and this is what we did last night. I'm doing a bit of traveling, and I'm in a rental car in Arkansas, and I had our very first Sunday night fuse last night, and I really wanted to talk about it, but I'm going to be traveling for the next 3 days, and so with that being said, I just got my GoPro, got it mounted on the front of my car, of this rental car, and now I'm going to talk to you through this. So this is what we did last night. We began the night at around 5:30 for our leader meeting, and I shared with them kind of like the legacy that we're starting in the student ministry with moving to Sunday nights. And then around 6 o'clock, the doors opened for students to come in and to enjoy snacks. And for this night, to make it special, I got us a cake that I should have taken a picture of before we cut into it. It was a cake that said "Welcome to Fuse," and it was like a big 3-layer sheet cake, and it was delicious. And then I also had a bunch of chips for kids to snack on. At 6:20, I started the countdown, and then at 6:30, when it was 5 minutes left on the countdown, I started announcing the kids to come find their seats. And then from there, we went into our funny videos. The first funny video I showed was by Trip and Tyler, and it's called No Pro. And so it's basically like two dads with GoPros doing unexciting things with a GoPro, and it's a hilarious video. Kids loved it. The next video I showed was a video that actually we created with one of our students. So the message of the night was called "I Woke Up Like This," and I wanted to make a YouTube video of waking up, reality versus expectations. So I got one of my volunteer leaders, and we shot this video with different ideas of what people think it's going to be like to wake up versus the reality of what it's like to wake up, and your morning routine. And so it was super easy. Everything, pretty much almost everything, took just one take. And by all means, if you're doing a series that's similar in tone, steal this concept, use the script of it, and film it with maybe a girl in your youth group, a guy with your youth group, whoever, or maybe one of your leaders. Which I think filming your leaders doing this type of stuff builds credibility for your leaders with the kids, that they have a sense of humor, and it's just fun, and it's a good win for your other leaders. So I'll link those videos below. Great funny videos. After that, we transitioned into two different games. The first game was a DYM membership exclusive thing that you guys or everyone else would be able to get next month if you're not a member. It was a game called something about like throwing up rainbows. So if you have Snapchat, you remember one of the filters being the filter of you opening your mouth and a rainbow vomiting out of your mouth. So they took that same game idea, except you have a picture and you have to guess whether they're going to vomit a rainbow or vomit something else. And so when I said that, kids initially was like, oh no. But it was really good. There was nothing super disgusting about it. It was great. When DYM releases this, hopefully if it's affordable, get it. It was super fun. But just make sure that you organize in such a way that there's variety. Don't do too many rainbows and too many different ones. You'll understand when you get it. Make sure you have variety. For the second video, we did this game called Squeeze It, I think, or The Big Squeeze, I think it's called. It's another DYM game, and it wasn't that great. I think this game would be great if it was just a group of middle schoolers, a big group of middle schoolers. The high schoolers were kind of just like okay about it, but I kind of hyped it up a little bit to kind of ham it up and make it funny and stuff like that. But basically, you have a shape, like the shape of Florida, and you tell everybody to get together and squeeze with their bodies, the entire group, to create the shape of Florida. And there's other shapes to be had, and so it was funny. It wasn't the most exciting game. The game before that was way better in terms of the kids liking it. The junior hires liked it, and I think if it was just junior hires, it would have been hilarious. But it was a mixed group of junior high and senior high, and so it kind of, I don't want to say flopped, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. From there, we talked about announcements, because we had like 6 new students, and so a lot of them never even heard of our student ministry, so we had to talk about kind of like upcoming events and things like that. And then for the biggest change that we had after the game, after the announcements and after the game, we split the high schoolers and junior hires up. So the junior hires stayed in the big room, the youth wing, and the high schoolers went to this coffee shop that our church owned. It's a legit coffee shop that our church has. It's pretty sweet. It's open when the church is closed, and they went in there, and What they did while I was preaching to the junior hires is the high schoolers shared their highs and lows for the week. So they spent like 15 minutes sharing their highs and lows while I was preaching my message to the junior hires. And then after I preached my message to the junior hires, I sent the junior hires to go share their highs and lows for the week while I then go to the high schoolers and preach the message to them. And after I preach the message to the high schoolers, then at that point, everybody breaks up into small groups and talk about the message that we preached. So, with that being said, my message was called I Woke Up Like This. In the DYM store, there's a message called I Woke Up Like This. It's pretty good for kind of the beginning of the school year or the beginning of the year. And basically, it's a message from James about being not just a hearer of God's word, but also being a doer of God's word. And so I tweaked it, worked on it, and one thing I added to this message is a little token for kids to take home. I found these little mirrors. I'll put a link in the description of where I found these mirrors. I think they're 2 or 3 inch circular mirrors that are just mirrors, but on the back I wrote James 1:22-25. And so every time students look at this mirror to check themselves out or make sure their face looks fine or whatever, on the back of it they'll be reminded to not just be hearers of God's words, but also doers. And I think it nailed like that was a pretty cool thing. The kids loved that little token piece, and it wasn't that expensive. I think the mirrors were like $15 or $16, and then we just had to get like fluorescent Sharpies to write in the back, and it was a great token to take home. Overall, for the first night, it was awesome. It was exciting. I was nervous because there's a lot of big changes. I was nervous about how my leaders were going to react to it, but overall, everyone loved it. The fact that we moved the high schoolers into the coffee shop was a great move that I think will actually increase high school because of the fact that they're in a cool space and it's separate. And the junior hires loved having their own space too, and actually hearing a message from me. So it was a great night, a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to next Sunday and actually starting a series and seeing how this will work long term. So as always, if you have any questions, hit me up. Everything I talked about will be in the description below, and I will actually write a blog post updating my old blog post of what my schedule looks like, so you can see how I'm trying to accommodate separating high schoolers and junior hires without doing it 2 separate nights. It might not be the best long-term solution, or it might be a great long-term solution. We don't know until the long-term happens, but right now it's a great solution, and we'll see what goes on in the weeks and months and year to come. So God bless you guys. I will see you next week. Bye.